Here's the thing, DC. What I loved about Saturday's card so much was, obviously not the most stacked. It wasn't 253 or anything like that, but there were two real like feel good stories. And it's funny because both of them come from Albuquerque, the 505 with that rich fighting tradition. I've been to Albuquerque several times, and the
Oh,
way they
I know. Trust me, I know. I've seen.
I don't know if you know,
I've
but
seen
I
you.
walked around the park with Johnny Bones. You know what I'm saying? Johnny Bones and
I have seen you. I have
they
seen
love me
you
there. You got the
hobnobbing.
Hey, they got the green chili and the red chili. I like to do Christmas and put them both together, just for the record. You ever do
That's
Christmas?
my guy. I've never done that. I've never done that.
Oh, it's great. It's great. I learned that in the 505. Anyway, the way they speak about Holly Holm and Carlos Condit, it's like that's their pro sports team. They don't have a pro sports team. Holly's number one by far, but they love Carlos Condit. Dad works for the government. They love the natural born killer. This man was facing a 6-fight losing streak, DC. He had not won since May of 2015. May of 2015 was Carlos Condit's last win was against Thiago Alves. And what does he do? Solid win over Court McGee. Now, the question is, why not walk away now, right? You got the win. Why not? Why do some people like you know when to fold them, right? And some other fighters, we see this more often than not, don't know when to fold them, and they keep holding them. Why not walk away now?
Well,
on a high, right? Not when it's getting uncomfortable.
you can say that. You can say that. Like, I know when to fold them, but did I really? Right? Because the reality is, if I knew exactly when, I probably should have stopped after Derek Lewis or after Stipe Miocic when I had won the heavyweight title, when I had both titles. That would have been the fairy tale ending, right? Not leaving after losing 2 fights. Carlos Condit still feels like he can compete, and it's all he knows, right? It's what he does, and then he goes out and fights Court McGee, and he fights in the way that he did. He looked really good, man. His combinations look crisp. And when you look at Carlos Condit, and you maybe squint a little bit, you might squint like that. You see the guy that knocked out Dan Hardy, right? And you see the guy that kicked GSP in the head. You can still see flashes of that guy. But reality is, we as fighters, as we get older, all we're doing is squinting. Because when we watch ourselves, we still see that guy. When in reality, to the rest of us, that guy's not there anymore. So when Carlos looks at himself in there, especially getting his hand raised, it's just a throwback to all those years before. And it's that feeling that you never get you get tired of. You never get tired of that feeling.
You just opened a door, a window, dare I say, into your soul. Were you hinting at the fact that you regret sticking around as long as you did?
No, I don't think I was hinting. I'm not saying that I'm regretting it. I'm saying that if you say I knew exactly when to fold him, the fairy tale was knocking out Stipe,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or the fairy tale might have been going and collecting that big check for Derek Lewis without having to do a training camp. That's a fairy tale. Fairy tale's not walking out of the octagon after losing twice, right? That's a fairy tale. So I can't sit there and judge Carlos Condit when I feel like everybody's addicted to the drug, right? I could have stopped at 39 and held true to my promise of being done by 40 and at the top of the sport, nothing would ever have been questioned. But I stuck around twice and lost 2 fights. So it's not just me. It's like fighters. It's not just Carlos. It's not just BJ Penn. It's like everybody. It's a drug that you don't want to let go of, that high of fighting in that octagon and getting your hand raised. Because again, when we see ourselves, you put that video up the other day of me and Alexander Gustafsson in 2015. When I fight today, I still see the same guy, right? Because you live in those moments. And Carlos Condit still sees that guy that was on a tear and just destroying dudes to becoming the interim champion.
I don't know if this is right or wrong, but there's a part of me as we all grow older that, there's these new fans now that I know for a fact don't know who Carlos Condit is and just think he's some like prelim scrub. And there's a part of me that's like, okay, I know it wasn't vintage NBK and Court McGee's great as well, but he's also a veteran. All right, I'm not going to make it out to be too big of a deal, but it's nice. I don't want to see like what happened to BJ Penn, to these guys, right? To the guys who made the sport what it is today. So there was a part of me, I will admit, it was like, man, good for you, Carlos. And that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
No, for sure. No, I hear what you're saying. Like, I don't think for a second you're trying to like mess with Carlos. I'm just saying that it's hard, man, especially when you're a guy like Carlos Condit, the natural born killer. Dude's a man. He was the man, right? We all had that feeling when he would walk to the octagon, right? Swagger. And he was like, he had that look on his face. But I would like for him now to be in there with guys like Court McGee if he's going to continue to fight, because those are longtime veterans. My one worry is like there's no space to hide in the UFC, right? You end up like Diego Sanchez fighting freaking Jake Matthews the other day. Like that's what I don't want to see for Carlos.
Well, there was talk of Matt Brown afterwards, and they've tried to make
that would be fun. Right? How fun would that be for us to watch him and Matt Brown get after it?
Yeah, because they've tried to make it, for the past 5 years. Unfortunately, injuries stopped them from making it into a thing. The Nick Diaz one was thrown out there as well. I don't know what to make of Nick. He still seems to be in the gym, but that was a great fight. UFC 143. A lot of the Diaz fans think 1, 2, and 5. I think they say when talking about that fight, rounds 1, 2, and 5 for the interim title. That would be a fun one. The spinning expletive fight, if you recall.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see, and it was nice to see two Albuquerque guys. Just because it's such a great town, Albuquerque.
And have Carlos get a victory and fight like he did, right? Because like I said, man, there were moments in there where you saw that guy throw a combination, the high kick would go behind it. Remember the combination he would throw all the time? He would go bop 1, 2, and then that kick would come over the top, that right one, as he would be leaning off to the side. It was nasty, and you kind of saw a little bit of that. So good for Carlos. And Carlos is a nice guy, man. He's a really nice guy. There are some good people out of Albuquerque. I mean, Holly Holm is fantastic. She's as sweet as they come. Carlos Condit is a sweet guy too. He's a very nice guy, and I was happy for him. I was very happy for them both, and the city of Albuquerque.
That's right. The 505. You got the green, you got the red. My mom's two favorite fighters, Uriah Faber and Carlos Condit. She stayed up to watch her guy Carlos get a big victory on Saturday.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.